What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kick Ash Podcast. I am so happy to be back. Oh my gosh, I feel like I don't even know. I feel like it's been forever. So thank you for joining today. I am, as usual, jumping on here randomly. I have a new light that I may or may not turn off or adjust throughout the little stream here because it's not blinding, but like it's I don't know, man. I have very sensitive eyes. But what up, guys? May the 4th be with you all. May the 4th be with you all, and to all who celebrate. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend, a great Sunday, fun day, all that good stuff. Let me know if you can hear me okay. If you guys pop into the chat here live. Like I said, this was very last minute. I will obviously, well, since it's live, it'll be posted to the channel, right? But I may end up breaking up the video and depending on how many topics we go through here today and just kind of posting the video portion to make it a little bit easier to digest for people who watch it on replay. Because, like I said, this is a big weekend. It's game 7 for, depending on if you're a basketball fan, the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. I'm surprised, man. I thought the Warriors were gonna pull it out and in the series. What was it? Friday night? Friday night, whenever the game 6 was. And I was so pissed, man. I was so fucking pissed. I'm not a big bettor, like I don't like. I've never even. I went to the casino once when I was 21. Not with my grandma, just to say we did, right. We literally put down $20 and that was it. Just because we were in Atlantic City in New Jersey. But so in being in Florida, we have Hard Rock Bet. So they had like certain bets, like certain accelerated bets, right? Like you put down like a few dollars, you could win a decent amount, but it has to be certain things, right? This particular bet, it was both the Warriors and the Rockets need to score at least 108 points or more in the total game, right? Including overtime if we went to overtime. So I was like, I looked at the average for the past few games that they had. I was like, okay, well, there's a good probability, right? And the fucking Warriors are Steph Curry alone. You know what I mean? Like, dude is insane. My opinion, the best shooter ever. And I'm a tremendous Kobe Bryant fan, but Steph is just in a league of his own when it comes to that. But I remember being at work, guys, and I was like, and then we'll get to wrestling, and I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I put down, and I only ended up putting down like $40 because I won like 64 off of some other like unrelated bet. So I was like, okay, I'll put $40 down, and that would have warranted like $348, and then I had put down just like a couple bucks. So all in all, I would have won over like around $400, a little over $400. When I woke up the next day because I passed out when I got home from work, and I saw these motherfuckers scored 107 points. Rockets scored 115, I think it was. 112, 115, something like that. And the Warriors scored 107. I wanted to throw my phone. It's like depending on you big ballers out there, $400 may not be that much. And, it's not like I'm out here like dying or anything like that. But, it's still fun to win, and it's a quick $400. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Like all I needed was 2 more points from these fuckers, and I was so pissed. So pissed. So now I know too why they're like, do you have a gambling addiction or do you have any issues or anything like that? Because that shit can get addictive, and when you're so close, it's like, fuck, man, I was so close, but yeah, whatever. So it is what it is. But tonight is game 7, so I will be looking forward to that. I am a Warriors fan, so put that out there for the record. And I don't know, man. I'm kind of concerned with it being in Houston as well. Like, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be a fucking just dominant game. I think it's gonna be very defense heavy. So we'll see. But enough with the basketball talk. We will get over to wrestling because talking about big weeks and big weekends, man. We have this fucking Lays. I don't know how I feel about it. It was Black Friday, right, is what they call it. There were some cuts made in the WWE land, which at this point, unless you're a new fan, it's not surprising. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it any better. It doesn't, make it less sucky for the individuals who were cut. But at the end of the day, dude, I get it. But, and there were, I think, 2 specifically, and then 3 I'll talk about here in particular that were or I was more surprised on than, I don't want to say than others, but I was just more surprised on. So we'll get into that here in a second as well, but I get it, dude. Like, and it sucks. And it's the same thing that happens in the real world, right? With like layoffs, and if companies merge, just releasing, or, you know, like some people have called it like rehoming temporarily to like a different department, and then you slowly get like X'd out of the company. So it fucking sucks, dude. Like, at the end of the day, to me, like, it doesn't, whether they were a top star or you hadn't seen them in a year, like, it's still someone's livelihood, right? But with the professional wrestling industry and where we are as a whole, I think with the indie scene and, you know, major companies and things like that, and opportunities out there, I think it is prime time, you know. And I think depending on your will and the want to continue, I think sky's the limit for some of them. And just fucking look at Matt Cardona, right? Like, he is the prime example of taking advantage of getting released or a contract not renewing, and hitting the ground running and completely revamping yourself and making it about you, but not in the negative connotation, right? Making it to the point where, like, you were undeniable, as Cody Rhodes would say, right? And from undesirable to undeniable, right? I think that's what it was. So especially the couple that I'll reference here in a minute, I think it's most likely going to be a blessing in disguise, and it's not a permanent thing. And a few of the individuals who were released, I didn't even realize that they had been in the company for that long. So we'll obviously get into the specifics here. I'm gonna pull up the chat here and say hey to you guys. But yeah, like, it's not surprising, that it still sucks to see, right? You know, when you open the old Twitter app and, you know, it's WWE releases, or if you just go to your timeline and you see like just like so and so was released, it's like, oh shit, like, here we go type thing. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's always bittersweet, and I think it's just a matter of, we have this saying in my full-time job: is it a matter of skill or will? Right? Is it a matter of you don't have the skill, or do you don't have the will? So I think all of these people have proven to have the skill. Now it's just a matter of the will, and that's up to them at this point. And I don't know, I was thinking about the whole 30 and 90-day aspect of the contracts, right? If you're released, it's obviously different if they don't renew your contract, right? I would imagine. I don't want to say that certainty, but I would imagine, and I would imagine that's different as opposed to if you have 6 months left on a contract, and they're just like, no, like, we're gonna give you a release now, but you have a 30-day, 90-day non-compete clause, depending on if you're on the main roster in NXT. So I was thinking about that, and I wonder honestly if the talent view that as, I would love to know, and if you guys have a point of reference, please throw it out in the chat. But I wonder if the talent view that as a good thing or a bad thing. Because at first I was like, you know, that at first it's like, you know, that kind of sucks, you know, like, you have 90 days, we'll just stick with the 90-day example, to sit there and really, you're still employed by this company, right? And hot things are going on, and X, Y, and Z. But it's like, damn, like, I'm on my way out in 90 days, 89 days, 88 days, you know, like, so that I can't even really imagine that feeling, right? But then too, on the flip side, I was like, well, it could be a blessing in disguise. Again, you know, it could be one of those things where it's like, okay, bet, like, I'm still going to be getting paid for 90 days. I know they're not going to really use me for 90 days unless you're, depending on where you're at in the card, or if you're finishing out a story and they're going to like have you like job out, as they say, you know, like, I hate use terms like that, but if they're gonna have you like Dean Ambrose, right, on his way out, I remember they had announced, or they had sent out a release on their statement on their website, and they're like, John Good, you know, Dean Ambrose will not be renewing his contract, and we wish him the best, or something to that effect, because it was very jarring. I was like, I remember when that came out, I was like, since when? Like, we never hear statements like that. And they did pretty much like a little farewell tour. I remember being at one of the shows for it. So it just really depends too. But I wonder if the talent view that as a good thing, right? Because like I was saying, getting back to my point there, if they're like, okay, bet, so I know I'm going to be getting paid for the next 90 days, most likely not going to be used. They're not going to really ask me to do shit, maybe post something on Twitter or whatever, like whatever the fact, but it's going to be very minimal. So I have 90 days to really plot out what I want to do, where I want to start. Do I want to sign with another company right away if the offer's there? Do I want to jump around, just hit the market and just kind of do my own thing? What shirts do I want? Like all this shit. So me, as I was thinking about it, I forget where I was driving to, but as I was driving and thinking about it, I was like, I think me personally, like, of course, the first few days it would sting, right? And knowing that, especially with WWE being as hot as it is, like, damn, like, it's right after WrestleMania season. Even though this year wasn't as hot as it was last year, it still sucks, like, it's still obviously the number one company out there making stupid money, and to think that they can't even find and carve out a spot for me, it's like, okay, but that's why they say too, like, use that as motivation. So it sucks, like, I don't want to ever like downplay that or not acknowledge that, because again, you can sit there and be making all these plans for 90 days out, but you in the back of your mind too, it's still like, fuck, like 90 days out, like I'm not going to be getting a guaranteed paycheck, So again, man, I just feel for everyone, whether they expected it, if they were completely blindsided, whatever, it still sucks. So my heart goes out to them all. I hope they all go out there and just kick ass, no pun intended. But yeah, so it's kind of my overall thoughts on releases. I think I've said something like that in the past, but I just always feel weird talking about like people losing their job and not acknowledging like the struggles of it, and whether you're fucking financially set for the rest of your life, your kids' lives, your grandkids' life, like it still sucks, and you're still dipping into that reserved funds that you maybe had earmarked for something else. You know what I mean? So like a Braun Strowman, for instance, like I'm sure that dude has made good money, but he 90 days from now will still be out of that guaranteed paycheck. So it still hits different. You know what I mean? And it's still painful, I'm sure. So we'll be getting into it here, but I want to just kind of want to get that off my chest here and just kind of go over my thoughts and what I was thinking about the whole thing, kind of as a like overview, and see what you guys are thinking about and chatting about here. I got my Starbucks too. They made it perfectly, so I was like, fuck yeah, I know it's gonna be a great day. What up, Fernando, Jesse, E, Sai? What up, Billy, Nick? What up, guys? What is up? What the fuck is up, my friends? I am happy to have you guys here. I appreciate it. I mentioned, I forget which stream it was. I was gonna be dabbling or thinking about dabbling in like getting like the subscription or whatever you need for Twitter. I was looking at that on TikTok as well. I fucking hate I just hate social media, man. And TikTok, it's just so much. Like I open the app sometimes and I'm just like, I get overwhelmed. And I opened the app earlier and I was like, I just clicked on the live section and I was just like, I just can't right now. So I will be going to breaking news. Not really. But Fernando, I think you're in the Orlando area, so let me know if you're going to any of the Tampa shows, dude, that WWE and NXT are going to be doing later in this month. Let me know. If you are, it'd be cool to say hey. But I will be going to the Saturday night's main event, which is, the fuck is that date? 24th? Where's my calendar on this shit? There it is. No, I don't want the podcast. I want my calendar. Technology, bro. Fucking computers. So just use my phone. Yes, the 24th. So I don't even know if they've announced it on TV yet. I may have been something that fast forwarded through, but WWE will be holding in Tampa at the Yingling Center on the 24th. They're actually doing like a whole strip of shows, and it's so fucking funny because when I first saw that they were doing a show in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, on the 23rd, I was planning on taking off and going up there for that show. Anyway, it was SmackDown, obviously Friday. But I was like, I've never been to Georgia. That's kind of how I visit my states, and travel. Like I see what wrestling show I want to go to, and I just kind of plan from there. But I was thinking about that, and then I was like, well, fuck, they're coming right here to Tampa, and it's even easier. So they're going to be here from the 24th through the 27th. So Saturday night's main event will be, obviously, Saturday, May 24th. They're doing a NXT Battleground on the 25th. Obviously, Monday Night Raw will be on the 26th, and then the 27th will be the NXT, I think it's going to be live show. So I bought tickets for the Saturday night's main event on Saturday the 24th. So that's gonna be really fun. I'm super stoked to go to that. Just with the history there, it's very cool that it's gonna be in Tampa, which is like, I looked it up too. It's like an hour and 45-minute drive for me, so a breeze. And John Cena is advertised. He's literally the only person that's advertised for the show. I pulled it up because I didn't think I'm pretty confident WWE, like the main roster, had a Battleground pay-per-view back in the day. So I was like, man, I couldn't figure out for the longest time if Battleground was going to be a WWE, like a PLE, or if it was going to be NXT related. So found out it was going to be NXT related, but then I was like, well, shit, like I'd love to see Stephanie Vaquer. So I may end up, but then I was like, I want to go to Raw too and see Punk and Rhea. So I'm conflicted on what I'm going to do because tickets are fucking expensive. And I really don't want to be like all the way in the fucking nosebleeds on the other side of the arena. I guess depending on the size of it, but we'll see. So I know for certain I'm going to be, like I said, at Saturday night's main event. I hope they do it big, man. I hope they do something fun. I'm assuming they will, since Cena's going to be there, most likely retaining the championship, going in as the champion. So I'm excited to see that. So thought of that and brought that up because I'm going to try to do something live, like, what do people call it? Like on the scene type shit. No reporting or anything like that. And that's why, like, I never write into like PW Torch or like any of those other sites to do like a live like review of the show or like send in notes or anything, because man, I just want to go there and have a good time. And if I'm in there like trying to take notes, like, oh, okay, like the dark match was so and so and so and so, like, like on my phone, like to me, like, and with my my issues, I need to stay focused, and that's just how I enjoy it. I'm that type that I'll call in and like shit like this, like I'll call in and talk to you about it, but in the moment, man, like I can't do a report. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to do something though, just some live streaming, because it should be a fun stretch of shows. They had like some ticket pack, like 3 and 4 day ticket pack that they were they had going on sale, but even that shit was expensive too. So stay tuned for that. But I'm gonna go through the chat here. Yes, may the 4th be with everyone who are just piling in now, to those who celebrate. Jesse, what is up, man? E, what's up? What up, man? Yeah, E, it's good to have you back in here, man. Sai, you said Kobe Doing Work is the best sports documentary I've ever seen on YouTube, I think. Spike Lee. Oh, shit, dude. Kobe is my guy, man. I will definitely check that out. They just had, well, this was a few things for Gigi this past week on Nike, the sneakers app. They had some of her jerseys drop, and this really cool pair of, I don't even know the name of it, but they were dope. It was like black, gray, white, just like a cool little like flush of colors. I didn't, and it's like one of those you have to join the draw. I didn't land on the sneakers, but I copped one of her jerseys, the black jersey. So I'm really, really excited for that to come in. Oh yeah. Hold on, guys. Hold the press. E brings up the topic of the day and what I should have led with, and I buried the lead. So how dare I? 100 people versus 1 gorilla. Who y'all got? Who y'all got? This has been the pressing comment of, I think, at least the past week. I don't even know the origination of it. I just remember seeing it float around, and then this was a topic in actually my part-time. I'm going to hold off on my answer to see what you guys have to say, but yes, 100 people versus 1 gorilla. Who y'all got? And they're all strangers. Okay, I'm going to add a stipulation to it. These people are all strangers, right? I mean, I guess it's, who knows 100 people, I guess. Depending on how big your family is, like some people have fucking like deep ass families. So And I guess like I technically do know over 100 people if I pull up Facebook, but complete strangers. Who y'all got? We'll circle back to that. Nick says, yeah, okay, what I was referring to earlier, my company just had a bunch of layoffs last month. I hope you're good, man. I hope you're good. But yeah, exactly. You know, and it fucking sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. Especially if like your company is one of those big, like billion-dollar companies who just make stupid money. And that's why I was saying too, like, you know, like when I was referencing like WWE being as hot as it is, making all that money, it's like, damn, like y'all are making money hand over fist. And y'all can't carve out a spot for me. You know, not saying that anyone is guaranteed a paycheck or just because they're making billions of dollars that, you know, X, Y, and Z should get paid if they're not working. But I think they should really focus in on and really weigh the pros and cons and the investment and go from there. And again, not saying that everyone I don't know. I'm not gonna I hate saying like, oh, this person should have got released, this person should not have. It's just not my place. But yeah, dude, like I hope you're good. And it sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. Billy, yeah, dude, we're definitely gonna get to that. I'm doing well, man. How are you though? You said I hate WWE. You got rid of Braun Strowman, or you said Strongman. But yeah, dude, yeah, we're definitely gonna be getting to that because that was one of the three that I was probably the number one release that I was surprised about the most. So we'll definitely be getting into that here in just 1 second. Dude, I know, Fernando, right? You said the weather was terrible here 3 hours ago. Now it's sunny as hell. Dude, I fucking know. I was outside with my dogs earlier. It rained over here. I don't even know when it rained. I took my dogs out. There was like, clearly, obviously, you can tell when it's rained. I was like, when did this happen? Went, got some Starbucks with one of my dogs, came back, was all gloomy and muggy. I was like, oh, come in, guys. And now the sun is beaming through. Fucking don't understand Florida weather. Exactly, dude. And you said WWE brags about all the record profits, but still release all the talent. Makes no sense. Yeah, dude. And again, like, no one is guaranteed a job. And again, just because they're making X, Y, and Z amounts of cash doesn't mean that they should just keep me, right? Just because like I'm on the roster, but it's just another kick in the gut, you know. Oh, dude, sweet. Are you going to? So you're going to Saturday night's main event, or what show during that trip are you going to? And yes, it will be my first Saturday night's main event that I see live. It definitely will be. Word. Okay. Dude, let me know. You said I'm getting tickets for Saturday night's main event in a few days. Hopefully good seats are still available. Yeah, dude, depending on if you're looking to go, like if you're buying like 2+ tickets, there's still some pretty decent seats left available. I was just looking for one. So mine, I don't know the section. I don't have it put up here. But it's like because the way they have the layout of the arena too, it's like almost looks like an entryway like they have for the Rumble, where it's kind of like that diagonal. It kind of reminds me of that Tetris piece where it's like that one block and then like 3 blocks. It kind of like that type of setup from the stage leading to the arena or to the ring. So if you're like, imagine you're making your entrance, right? I would be once you get to the ring, I would be in that section like right across from it. And I chose that one specifically because I should be in the perfect view of everything in the ring and then the stage as well. Because I love getting the entrances. I almost got one of the seats. I think it's for Raw, that they had available. That's like so. Again, keeping that same setup in mind, when it looks like right there, like and that's why I didn't buy it yet because I don't know if it's parallel with the entrance itself or if it's like a couple rows ahead of it. But they had like a strip, like 2 rows of seats still available, and one of them was like $200 or something, like maybe 250. After fucking fees are insane. I found a ticket for $200, went to check out, brought it up to 271. I was like, you're fucking insane, dude. No way around it though. But yeah, so if it's still there, that's why I wanted to kind of hold off and see and get a lay of the land. And before I snatch that one, because if I can see and if I'm right there, all day, a whole day. My friend Dan, he always finds like the perfect seats. He's always like on the floor right near the entrance ramp, but he's like maybe like the second or third seat, if not that first seat right there, just prime. He's fantastic at it. So shout out to Dan. But we're gonna get into the official list here of the releases, because I've been running my mouth for a while now. But at least we've been productive though. We've been talking about the shit. Yeah, 26 more appearances of Cena. Isn't that crazy? Why? Again, I have talked a lot of shit about the heel turn or whatever. Well, I mean, not a lot of shit, but I've talked some shit about the heel turn and just the. I guess like, and I feel kind of weird saying this, but like for like what I was kind of expecting and where I thought it was going to be and like what I was kind of expecting from him, and it just kind of not being there. It's one of those where they say like don't set your expectations for someone else because like they're your expectations. Allow that person to show you like who they are, you know what I mean? And when they show you who you are, acknowledge it. And they're like, you know, when someone shows you who you are, listen to them type shit, whatever the saying is. And that's what I was kind of waiting from Cena, you know, and it's just the same shit. So we'll see, man. And I don't know. I still think the whole thing with Randy telling him that you know, like I know what your problem is. You need to be a dad, like you need to be a parent. Like that's just a weird thing for me, man. Like, and I don't know, like I'm not gonna take it like this route, you know, not to be that female, but sometimes people don't have kids because of reasons beyond their control. And I'm not saying that's Cena at all, but it's always like us females get it a lot, you know, where especially when you get into the 30s and hit like pushing that 40 range, people are like, "Oh, when are you going to have kids?" or "Why don't you have any kids?" It's like, first of all, like it's a very personal question, you know, and me take it a step back. I'm not offended if people ask me that question, but like some female friends that I have, it's not that they're offended, but it does bother them because they, for medical reasons, cannot, and they would absolutely do anything. They would give a limb to have a kid type shit. You know what I mean? Like that's what they envision. Like they envision being like having a whole family and shit like that, and they can't for X, Y, and Z. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of like a touchy. And again, this is just me taking a completely different route. And I don't know. It's just me. But for him to bring it up, like, and that wasn't even my first thought. My first thought when I was listening to him, to Randy saying, you know what your problem is, man? Like you need to be a dad. Like you don't have any kids. I literally said out loud, like, what? Like really? Like that's it? Like, and I guess I understand where he's coming from with the mindset of like, and again, not to stereotype or anything like that, but we'll use Randy for example. Like Randy was that playboy, right? Like he was a good looking dude, had money, had status, all that good shit. He was out there probably a ladies' man, you know what I mean? Not even probably. That was the whole idea with Evolution, right? Like if you remember that video package they shot in the nightclub, like he was out there, his shirt was buttoned halfway down, he was making out with some chick at a booth, you know what I mean? So that was like the Randy Orton character, at least that we'll go with. I don't know Randy Orton the dude, but there's been reports and stories, right? In my place to speculate on that. But that was the idea. So I get the mindset coming from Randy that, oh, you need to have a family, you need to settle down. Like, I'm not settle down because he's married, but you need to have kids because that, for a lot of dudes and for a lot of females, for a lot of people, when they realize, oh shit, 9 months from now, I'm gonna have a baby and someone else who literally depends on me for everything. I need to man up, woman up. I need to grow the fuck up, and really put myself on the back burner and put this child on the forefront and really look at the broad scope of things as opposed to how does this impact me, you know? So I get where Randy's coming from for that. It was just fucking bizarre for Randy Orton to like for that to be the reason for Randy to come out there and attack Cena and then the follow to be like, yeah, bro, you need to have some kids. And I was just like, all right, dude, like, okay. But yeah, you mentioning 26 appearances triggered that somehow. But yeah, so I just and obviously that kind of leads into backlash, which we'll hold off here on for a minute. But I just the whole John Cena of it all in the 26 appearances, like I'm just very thankful that I'll be able to see him at Saturday Night's Main Event because that's what I say, as much as I have like shit talked some of his appearances and it's just not been what I expected, it's still kind of surreal that he's going to be done after this year. And props to him for not and for saying at least that he's going to be a man of his word and not come back. And I believe that, man. Like, that dude's got so much other shit going on. Like, he's probably gonna have a sense of relief after this year is over, after December 31st comes. So we'll see, man. We'll see how the whole year plays out, though. I'm very interested to see, though, when he does end up dropping the title and what happens after that. If he plays out the whole year with it, or if he drops the title and then what's the story after that. So they do have a nice setup there. What up, Maria? What up? What up? Nick, you said, what do I think of the inflation in the ticket prices? It's fucking atrocious. That and those $8 eggs that are out there. But what up, Mackenzie? What up? What up? Yeah, Fernando. The Viper giving moral lectures in wrestling storyline is a little weird. Yeah, it's just odd. It's just odd. But yeah, so I'm going to jump into the list here because y'all know me. I fucking sit here for 4 hours. I'm just trying to pull up the exact list here. And well, yeah, I'll save that thought for now. Well, one report said Dakota Kai already gained a lot of interest, which is not a surprise. I'll hold off on that until I get there. But I don't know, man. Just overall, here we go. Oh yeah, today's only the 4th. God. Wait, was there another one? Oh no, okay, cool. So Shotzi is in question as well, which I think it's such a shame, dude. Like, I think they didn't even crack the surface with Shotzi, and that's a bummer. I think Shotzi's gonna be one of those though that she's gonna do some crazy shit on the indies. I just have that feeling. But in regards to the list, officially released as of, this was what, on the 3rd, so yesterday. Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Gigi Dolan, Eddie Thorpe, Javier Bernal, Oro Menza, Wolfgang, Mark Kofi, Joe Kofi, Cora Jade, and Riley Osborne. And then, again, like I said, Shotzi has been added to that list. I don't know if it's been made official, but I know she's posted some shit. So, I mean, she would know, right? But there has been a couple of developments as well. I think it was from Dave Meltzer. I'm going to pull that up here. Oh, WWE is announcing releases, and apparently there was a TNA signing. I'll pull that up here and see as well. Yo, my computer's moving mad fucking slow, man. I gotta look into getting a new device. I wish they would. Okay, I'm just gonna use this one. I was gonna see if they had if Fightful had an official list, but there's just way too many advertisements and shit going on. And I get it, dude. I get it. They gotta get their back. I ain't mad at them. But yeah, it was Dave Meltzer. So we'll talk about what Dave said here in a second too. But yeah, so obviously the biggest name on the list is, no pun intended, is Braun Strowman, right? We'll just start off with him. I just really wanted to share the screen with you guys. but Sean doesn't even have like a specific list. He just has the individual posts. Okay, whatever. But yeah, so we'll just start off with Braun Strowman. And again, like, for me, the Strowman one was most surprising because he was, if you think about it, he just, again, backing up on the origin of the Wyatt family, all that, like, we don't even need to go through the whole history of him. You guys know. Just talking recently, right? His recent return to the company, he was brought in, and I think he did a fantastic job on this last run. I think he really, I don't want to say impressed a lot of people, but I think he really, there was just a different side to him, and it was just like a different type of vibe to him. And look, he made some comments, I think during the pandemic it was, when some talent were released about like the indie scene or whatever, that really rubbed, I don't remember the exact comment, so I'm not going to comment on the comment, but that really just sat with a lot of people and just really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And again, like, I don't remember the exact nature of the comment, or like the exact verbiage rather, so I'm not going to get worked up about it right now. And to keep the show going, I'm not going to stop to look it up. But yeah, so unless one of you guys remember, I'll read through it. But I think that my point to that is, I think this recent run from Strowman, he was just almost like a more mature version of him, right? And even just not even talking about like the actual, like real, what's his name, Adam Scher, not even talking about like the real person, but like even the character had like a more mature version and feel to him, and that it wasn't like he was going in there and like the character wasn't making it all about himself, or like he was just going in there just to almost like react, like a reactionary type of vibe. And I don't know, like, it's the feud that he had with Jacob Fatu and how he really put him over, and how he really let Fatu like showcase his strengths and really sold, to Fatu, as much as I hate to say it like that. Like, it just really stood out, man. And to think that, like, if he had won, like, he would have had the match at WrestleMania instead. And to go from that to being released, it's just very surprising to me. And I do know, and it's very obvious, right, that wrestling is not the land of the giants anymore. And it's not the big guys, like the super big guys, like 6'10" plus guys, like, they don't dominate the scene anymore. And that really shows. And for me, like, as a wrestling fan, like, I was never attracted to like the big giants, right? They're just like, okay, like, you're just a big dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, like, it's fucking crazy, like how big the dude is or whatever. But like, they just weren't. I never like gravitated towards them. So to see how the wrestling business has shifted, where it's not even about like the bodybuilder type guys anymore. It's just really about the total, like, the no pun intended, the total package, Lex Luger. But it's about like the whole package, I'll say. So I think that Strowman really stood out, though. Obviously, the size is there, no brainer. But the speed that he had, the agility that he had, the way that he could just like explode out of nowhere, and just like like Vince ruined it with the choo-choo running around the ring, but just the way that dude could get up and go was just wild. And for a dude his size, and like I said, the agility and the way he was able to move, I don't know if it was, I heard like rumblings that he had been having issues with his knees or something like that, or some medical issues. So I don't know if it was just maybe not a mutual, but like WWE was like, okay, like, we're gonna release you right now, or for now. Take your time off, like, take the time that you need, get yourself together, and we'll revisit this in a year from now or 2 years from now. Kind of like what they did previously. Maybe it's something like that. I definitely don't see this as being a forever thing for Strowman. It rarely is for anyone, for that matter. But again, it was still very surprising to me. And I don't see him really fitting in AEW. I just feel like AEW, especially, like, he would just stand out like a sore thumb there, and in the wrong way. And that's where I feel like his size is actually working against him in AEW specifically, because they are so about like the smaller guys, and like not saying that Kenny Omega, for instance, is a small guy, because he definitely isn't, but he's not like a Bobby Lashley size even and above. So I don't know. But to me, honestly, I think the best fit for Strowman, depending on what he wants to do, if he wants to continue this, if he really just wants to take some time off and just enjoy the fruits of his labor, totally cool. But and I think he posted like a video of him working out on a yacht or some shit, or on a boat. It's not a yacht, but like on a boat or some shit in the Bahamas, I think it was. So good for him. But or that could suck too. You know, if you're taking a little vacation and you get the call that you're fired, that sucks. But he seemed to have a good response, is my point there. But I could really see him fitting in, as weird as it sounds, fitting into New Japan, or at least going to New Japan and just really making a fucking just run for it. And I don't know, man. I just think that could be really fun, like a Godzilla type thing. I just think that could be really fun. So Braun Strowman was the one that really was the most surprising for me for those reasons. And again, like I don't see it's going to be, or I don't see it being a permanent thing at all. I would say maybe a year and a half, maybe. So we'll see. Yeah, okay, so I did click on it. I don't understand. It says it's a free post, but then you can't open the page. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to close out of that and go back to the other page. But moving on, next up is Dakota Kai. And kind of similar to Strowman, Dakota Kai surprised me just in the sense that she had been used more so than not lately. You know, at least up until I think it was like March timeframe, like right before WrestleMania. She was in the finals to become the first ever Intercontinental Champion for the women's division. And to think that she went from losing that to being released, again, very similar to Strowman, it's just kind of surprising to me. And I think Dakota is one of those talents you need, especially for the women's division, where she is a good upper mid-carder. You know, like she is a good person to have, where she's fucking talented in the ring, right? No question there. But if you give her the right video package, the right hype, 2-week build, you can make a case for like, okay, like, you know, like they haven't pulled the trigger on her yet, but maybe this is the time they do. And I think the whole damage control thing just did not end up working out. And I think she could have gone down to NXT, man. I think she could have gone down to NXT and really just spent some time there and really help the talent down there, right? Give like, it's kind of like a handshake, right? Like I'll help you here and you help me here type of vibe, like going down to NXT. Like I can help you with like the exposure feeling, the travel, like give you kind of like an idea of what to expect when you move up to the main roster. And then going down to NXT, not that it's a demotion or anything, but going to NXT, it's a rehoning of your craft, refining of your tools, and really redeveloping yourself down there. So I think they could have done something like that. Maybe they, you know, maybe she didn't want to. I haven't heard any reports of that, but I don't know. I just think that they could have gone that route with her. So to see that they just released her, I think is a bummer. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, I thought was a little surprising, just because like, do you just not care about the tag division? Like that was literally like the one true tag team in the women's division, and they just released them both. So okay, again, I'm not gonna even, you know, be like two-faced here. I've said before, like I never really connected with them as a tag team, but some people did. So, and I think they had been in the company for what? I think Katana Chance had been in the company for 7 years or some shit. 7-8 years, or I think it was like 8 years, and then like 7 years at NXT, and they had just moved up to the main roster or like last year, which I didn't realize it had been that long. So yeah, I think that they have a decent chance on the indie scene, though, to kind of make I don't know if they end up staying as a tag team or if they just break off and do their own thing individually. We'll see. But I was mildly surprised with that one, just because, like, again, like, wow, you just really don't care about what tag division? In women's tag team champs who? Not that they're a chance, but like women's tag team division who? You know what I mean? But like, okay. Shayna Baszler, surprising but not surprising. And again, like I don't mean this in a bad way, but just in the sense of she wasn't really being used that much. So I guess if you break it down, I guess like it would, again, I hate to say it, but like I guess it would make sense. But for me, like it was just a completely dropped ball with Shayna Baszler, and I think when she was brought up to the main roster and Vince had her do that fucking dumb shit with biting Becky's neck, I just think she was just, there was no hope for her after that. You can't recover, and there's no fault of hers, you know what I mean? And I think just Triple H had probably just lost the desire to try to rehab her at that point. And again, it's no fault of either of theirs. It's just, fuck, like we can only do so much at this point, right? And the division is just going in a different direction, I guess it seems, and they just really did not find a place for her. And again, like I don't even know if she would be one that you can move to NXT and do anything with there, because it's just a different vibe, But she's what I was referencing earlier in the sense that I think she can go in the indie scene and fucking crush. Like Bloodsport, obviously she did that I think this past year as well. But dude, like she can just kill it. You know what I mean? I don't see any issues for her going forward. I think she could actually be a very interesting piece for AEW. You've seen before they've wanted to dabble in like that MMA world. They've tried bringing in, I forget that girl's name. But they brought in, fuck, what's her name? With the oh my god, I'm blanking on the whole faction. Stop. I'm blanking on that whole faction's name now. Based out of Miami. Fuck. This boat, like the dude who ran it, like got so much heat all the time. Whatever. But I could see her fitting into AEW and really kind of being like behind the scenes a mentor type of vibe, but really I don't think, and again, like to be fair, like I don't know if she would ever be like the champion there, but I think she could go in there and really help just add credibility to the roster. So, or for that, I could pretty much say the same thing in TNA. If she went to TNA, I could definitely see her being the champion there, though. Whereas AEW, I'm not sure if they would ever put the title on her. Or I could see it maybe being like a Samoa Joe type of vibe in AEW for Shayna Baszler, one where you don't really like the credibility, like everything's already there, like the the badassery is already there and pretty obvious, but and it's not one where it's like, oh yeah, like you're just like itching to see her go for the championship. But if you put her in that championship scene in that title picture, it's like, all right, shit, I could see that, I could believe that. So yeah, I think it could be fun. Shout out Kelly in the back. Moving on though, Gigi Dolan, I think it's very surprising, just in the sense of, I take that back. I don't think it's very surprising. I was still surprised by it, but I just think it's kind of, I feel like it's going to be one of those weird things where it's like, it's surprising in a sense because like they had so many different options they could do with her. Like send her to TNA and have her work over there for a couple months. And then if you're still like wanting to get rid of her, like then maybe go from there. But like I just see Gigi Dolan going straight to TNA and then potentially working with NXT talent. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of odd to me. But I feel like TNA is a no-brainer. She's with Zachary Wentz, right? So yeah, I pretty much see that as a no-brainer, her going over there. Eddie Thorpe, there was a clip that came up on Twitter that he had said that it was Lexis King, and Eddie had said something to the effect of like, oh, like, I don't know, like the typical white man, like, I don't know, some shit, and that was the reason he got fired. I don't believe that at all. It was a surprising statement, but like whatever. Like, is he wrong? No. But yeah. So those are not even including Eddie Thorpe in there. I was just kind of going through the list. But the next one that was surprising to me, and then I'll kind of wrap up here, is Cora Jade. Cora Jade was surprising in the sense that she had been used very prominently lately. Not prominently in like the title picture, but she had been moved over to NXT or to TNA in the tapings that TNA did here in February. She partnered up and then worked with Tessa Blanchard. So she's just been involved. And I think she was another one of the ones that I saw who had been in NXT for like 7 years or some shit, which is just crazy to think about. So I get it. You know what I mean? Like I get if they think that, like they've done all that they can with her right now, then and to me, like, that's why I say too, like, or I was saying earlier too, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, sometimes you need to let go to grow and then come back, you know? So she's another one where I think like she would go on the indie scene and just fucking crush it, man. I could definitely see her in AEW, especially TNA too. But I think AEW would be like a little bit edgier, you know, like type of vibe for her and a little bit more freeing. And like freedom, I guess is what I was looking for there. Just to work with like different promotions like GCW and that type shit. So that's kind of what I see for Cora Jade. But speaking of Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan, there were reports from that guy Meltzer um, that we will pull up here, and I will share my screen on this one because I love sharing my screen with you guys. All right, I was gonna do something, but I'll wait. All right, cool. So, and this is from Fightful.com, so shout out to Fightful.com, all the good folks over there. This is written by Jeremy Lambert. And again, I'm going to try to not show the ads there. But Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan respond to, quote, not working hard comments. Jade claims she was body shamed by bosses and co-workers, which I thought was interesting. As you can see there, Jade and Gigi Dolan just kind of interacting there. We're not going to play the clip. On May 2nd, WWE made a round of talent releases that included main roster and NXT talent. Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade were among the releases, despite both being regularly featured on NXT television. Both women competed at NXT Stand and Deliver in a kickoff four-way elimination tag team match. Just trying to get past those ads there real quick. And then here, insert our good old friend Dave. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer said about the releases, quote, many of those cut were perceived as not working hard in training. And if you don't work hard in training, there's so many people who do. And at this point, if the feeling is you're not working hard in training, I saw the term lazy. The ones who are lazy are going to be gone, and the ones who didn't stand out are going to be gone, end quote. Again, that's from Dave. Take it for what you will. Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade responded to the report with Gigi stating, quote, when I wasn't traveling to work for either of the two companies I was working for, I trained very hard 3 to 4 days a week, bumping my ass off and doing cardio drills with one of the best / toughest coaches I've worked with, and worked out every single day with live events every other weekend. So yeah, I don't want to hear this. LOL. The way my body feels says otherwise, end quote. Cora claimed she went to her own gym outside of this fucking ad. Cora Jade. It's those fucking like wavy weird people, not people, but in case you're just listening to the audio, but wavy weird things that they have at like car sales and shit. But there we go. Let me backtrack there. Cora claims she went to her own gym outside of work because she was body shamed by bosses, coworkers, and fans. She says, quote, this plus can't forget having to go to my own gym outside of work after, quote, strength and conditioning that wasn't doing anything for me other than get me body shamed by my bosses, coworkers, and fans with a smiley face. Crazy, end quote. And then right here, Fightful just shows the tweet from Wrestle Talk and then Gigi's response. And then I believe, yeah, Elena Black, which is Cora Jade, right underneath of that. Both women signed with WWE in January 2021. What? Yeah, okay, so where did I read that Cora Jade had been in there? I gotta look this up now. Or I heard. I didn't even read it. I heard. See, you can't fucking trust what you hear. That she had been in there for 7 years. I gotta pull this up. Hold on. Oh, so her real name is Brianna Coda. That's a cool name. Da-da-da. 2020. Okay, yeah. So that was she was only fucking born in 2001. Yeah. So whoever heard that from, I'm not gonna put them on blast, but they were completely wrong, and that was the main point of their rant. So yeah, Homegirl's been in there for 4 years. She debuted with WWE in January of 2021. Yeah, so that person's fucking wrong. So that's why I can never trust people that you listen to. Says me. But yeah. So wrapping up that little synopsis there from Dave. It's just one of those things, man. Like, and it's like, dude, like, I get, like, he does this for a living and he reports, you know, like, he has to make reports for a living. But it's like, bro, like, literally, like, a day or two after these people get released, and you went and put a report out there, like, oh, I heard it's because, you know, they're not working hard and they're being viewed as lazy. Like, bro, like, really? Like, read the room, bro. Read the room. But I'm gonna go back through you guys' comments and we're gonna talk a little bit of AEW. Then I'm gonna bounce for the day, guys, because I got shit to do. It's a Sunday. The weather is beautiful outside now. I'm gonna grab the longboard and take my dog out, a little free to free for a little stroll. Gotta do laundry. Gotta get ready for the game tonight. It's a big day. Big day. Big day. Yes. So I know this in particular. So you say those people that go to NXT weekly shows, is it true those tickets are free and they got to get on a bus to get there? Always wondered how to get to NXT. So I know this from experience because I have been there actually only once because the second time it was full. So yes, it is held at the Performance Center, no longer at Full Sail University specifically. So what they do is it's a parking lot. It's a massive parking lot right near Full Sail, though. They actually have, I think it's like 2 or 3 18-wheeler trailers that are like just forever like sitting in that parking lot, which is pretty cool, though. It has the NXT logo and everything on it. So yeah, so the bus arrives and picks people up, I think, around 6:15, 6:30, and there's like 2-3 buses that transports people, because the issue is with where the Performance Center is located at is in a very, I don't even want to call it a shopping center. It's like in a very small business center. It's actually kind of cool. It's off of like this, so you have to, once you turn off of this main road, you're kind of on like this, not a back street, but like a smaller road. And then once you kind of drive maybe like half a mile down this smaller road, you have to make a left into the business center and drive decent amount of ways down. And once you get closer, obviously, like you guys have all seen the shot of the Performance Center. It's kind of this, the strip itself is like a big L. So the first couple buildings are not related to WWE, and then there's some space, and then the Performance Center. So it kind of starts like on a like the side portion, and like it's the huge Performance Center itself. And then after that, there's additional businesses down the way. However, there is no parking at all. Like I've driven down there a couple times too. There is no parking at all. You literally, like, if you drive through, like, there's minimal parking for the businesses that are down there, and then you just, like, that's it. So it was designed with the idea that, like, these businesses knew, like, okay, like, I'm just a small business, so I don't need that much parking type shit. Not expecting fucking WWE to buy the, like, to take over that area. But that's why the fans have to meet at Full Sail's parking lot, because the parking lot there is massive. There's plenty of space for cars to park. And what WWE does is you get there and they load you onto the buses, depending on how many buses they have. Sometimes they have to take a couple trips, or they do it in like sections. Sorry, my dog's teasing another dog outside, so they may start barking in a second. But so that's the transportation way. You are not allowed, period, to drive your vehicle there. If you drive your vehicle there, they will not allow you to park. Like it's heavy security down there for sure. And which is ironic because fucking on NXT TV is the most dangerous place in wrestling, period. Is that NXT parking lot. So it's so the irony there. But in regards to the ticket portion, yes, I actually get emails each week. So I think it's through, like, I found it, actually this dude has sent it to me when I first moved down here. But it's like this Facebook group that I found it through, and it's a link that you have to sign up for, and then weekly you'll get it's like it's an NXT live invitation. I'll see if I can pull it up here actually. It's all right, Cacao. But while I'm pulling it up, so yeah, essentially it's an invitation. So I don't know if you have to live in the area, but that's one of the questions that they ask is if you live in the area itself. And then they go over exactly what to expect. Yeah, here we go. So, oh, well, here we go. Perfect. This is actually the one for next week. I'm going to open this in a new page. Or not. Okay, I'll just share my screen. All right, cool. Ooh. Let me... So this is the invite. Ooh, can you do online? Does that make it easier? Oh yeah, this makes it so much easier. Hold on. Cal, it's okay, babe. All right, cool. I'm gonna move your comment real quick, man. All right, so this is what the invite looks like. So this is the email that they send out every week. Normally about 4 or 5 days prior. So it says, hello and thank you for being a passionate member of the NXT universe. We have a special opportunity for you to be part of NXT on Tuesday, the next date. And then it goes down, it shows you, it says live opportunity, limited number of seats, and then it gives you a link to register now. And it says if you are selected, you'll get a confirmation email. So the register now, let me switch the screens really quick and show you the questionnaire. So this is what the questionnaire looks like. It's pretty simple, you know. So just basic information, all of your info. And then that's what I was referring to earlier regarding the parking. This is literally the first question or the first thing that they make you acknowledge. It says parking is not available at the performance center, nor is rideshare an option. Hell, it's okay. You must utilize the complimentary bus service to and from Full Sail. It's not that long of a ride. It's about a 15-minute bus ride. So it's not bad at all. But see, look, any guests who attempt to arrive via any other method than our complimentary bus service will be turned away because they are fucking strict about that. Callie May. She is pulling the blanket off of the bed. This girl. Oops. It was Callie's birthday yesterday, so shout out Cal. And then they ask you if it's your first time attending, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously don't bring any guns. But yeah, so E, I hope that answers your question there, my friend. Hope I didn't bore everyone there or you for that matter. But yeah, so that's how you do it. And again, it's free. It's literally just the first come first serve. And even if you get acknowledged, that acknowledgement email, you need to get there damn early. Callie, she's pulling the blankets off the bed, because it's literally first whatever however many people it is, 250, 300 people that fit the bus, they're good. If not, it doesn't matter if you got the first acknowledgement email. It matters if you're there first in line, which I know is fucking shitty because the show where, now again, this is circumstances, right? But it was a show where Taker, I think Cena was going to be there. All this shit. Like this dude had drove from Tampa, I think it was. Like he said he drove like over 2 hours, took the day off from work and school and all that for his kid and had the ticket, but they ran out of spaces. They ran out of seats and he had to be sent away. So it's literally a first come, first serve type shit. Yeah, man. Callie, relax, babe. See, this is why I couldn't have kids. It's okay, boo-boo. You're okay. You're okay. But yeah, I'm going to go through your comments really quick, and then, like I said, we will chat about some AEW, and then we'll jump off for the day. But yeah, Fernando, you said Dakota Kai and AEW would be excellent. For sure, dude. And again, yeah, you said, Fernando, I don't know if I mentioned this one. You said, what does not having kids have to do with, I'm sorry. Let me try that again. What does not having kids have to do with the wrestling championship match? It was a strange promo. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. It was just fucking like weird. Like, what? But yeah. Yeah. E say Shotzi didn't have her contract renewed. Yeah. Fernando says this is the second time Shots got released. Why sign her back to begin with? It's very disrespectful. Just weird, man. Just a weird vibe. Yeah, McKinsey, you say Dakota Kai shouldn't get released. I want her to do a storyline rivalry with Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. It will be some great storytelling. That could be fun, man. DGS22, what up, what up? You said, I think you might be done with wrestling. Are you referring to Braun Strowman? I'm just kind of guessing there, but is that who you're referring to with that one? Because that's what I kind of think that too, man. Or maybe do like some like rare appearances, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy or like anything like long term, rather. What up, Deron? What up, bro? How you doing, man? How are you? How's the fan? How is the fan? Ray Rodriguez, what up, Ray? What up? You said I just don't understand how come on now there's mid cards title and they're letting all these mid cards women. Yeah, dude, exactly, bro. Like, dude, don't even get me started on the whole mid card title shit. You know, like I bitched about with the tag team division. Like, why even create the US championship and the IT championship for the women's division if you're going to release like the majority of the talent that you have for that division? And not the majority, that's incorrectly stated, but some core people of that division that can really help you with that. Like Dakota Kai, like what I was saying earlier, like she literally challenged to be the inaugural IC women's champion, and now she's released, what, 2 months later? Like 3 months later, like what? And not to mention, neither of those champions had a match on WrestleMania. You had 2 fucking nights of WrestleMania, and not one of the nights did your women's US champion nor did your women's IC champion defend their title. Speaking of that, to make it worse, the IC champion was involved in a tag team championship match and won the tag team titles. So what the fuck? Like, and she ended up losing the tag team titles the next, what, 2 days later on Raw? Fuck out of here, man. Just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, right? Your opinion and mine, my friend. Your opinion and mine. Sigh, bro. Another reason why I fuck with you, man. You said I just want one person released to show a lack of class to say fuck off WWE, just one, but good on them, I guess. Yeah, dude, and you know, like that's what's well, I didn't say this specifically, but I'm referencing, you know, like, you know, you're never gone for good, like you always majority of people come back. It's very hard to burn a bridge with WWE. So I think if you just said fuck off WWE, like I don't think anyone would be like, oh, I don't think Triple H would be like, remember when we released you back in 2025, about 5-10 years ago, whatever the case may be, whatever the time frame is. Yeah, we're not gonna hire you back because you told us to fuck off. So you fuck off now. I just don't see that. You know, I think if your talent is there, and I think if you have that much fandom, that if you're that undeniable, you know, you could almost say whatever. You look at Cody Rhodes, man. Like I don't think he ever specifically said fuck off to WWE, but that dude went out there, he destroyed Triple H's chair, like all this shit, man. And he's look where he's at now. I mean, granted, he just lost the championship, but look where he had been at. So come on. I think WWE is like that person where it's like the more you shit talk them and the more you say fuck off, the more they like you. Oh Christ. What a world. Exactly, Ray. You said the good thing about Shayna is that she's a believable badass. Exactly, dude. That's why I'm not concerned about Shayna about Shayna at all. I feel like if she wants to stick with wrestling, dude, fucking sky's the limit for her in regards of just like killing the indie scene, bro. Howdy, N.I. What up, what up? Welcome. You say it seemed Dakota Kai suffered from the WWE cooling off pattern, meaning feuds get hot but slump very quickly. For her, it was that Damage Control versus Bailey. Other examples, Otis versus Gable and New Day turn. Very well said. Very well said there, Howdy. Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of I don't want to say a lot of companies, but I feel like that is a issue across the board where it's like the follow-up, whether if they're just winning the championship or if they lost the championship. More so, obviously, if you lose the championship, because it's easier to slip into obscurity. Whereas if you're the champion, they do need to at least reference you occasionally, depending on what champion it is. But you really suffer. And again, people give him a lot of shit, bro. The irony there. But Vince Russo, man, like back in the day, dude, like everyone who was on that card had a story. Those mid-carders had a story. Look at people like Goldust. I think that if Vince Russo wasn't around, like I feel like talents like Goldust wouldn't have really had the opportunity. So again, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I agree 100% of what Russo has ever done or said or whatever, but he brought a lot of pros, bro. So yeah, man, but exactly. That's a very good point there, Howdy. What up, Brad? What up, what up? What up, what up? You say, you said, do I like JD, and more specifically JD from NY206? Why does this dude always gets brought up? Not here. He's been brought up a couple times, but I mean, just like over wrestling Twitter and the wrestling scope. Yeah, long story short, yeah, I fucks with him. I fucks with him because the dude is not afraid to speak his mind. And do I agree with every comment, every description, every insinuation he has said? No. Do I know all of them? No. Is there stuff that he maybe has said that I'm not aware of? Probably, because I just haven't, like he just hasn't been one of those people that I need to take time and do research on. I just haven't really been that pressed. But not that I mean that in a negative way, I just period. You know what I mean? But I love the fact that dude, like I said, goes out there, speaks his mind, and he generates a reaction. There's something to be said where like, yeah, where that when people say like bad press is good press. I think that it could be touchy sometimes, but like a lot of the shit that dude has said, like I don't even disagree with recently, and again, to be fair, like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a diehard listener or again, like I know all of his history and stuff like that. Like I don't, but like for the reasons I just said, and for the fact of the dude has put in so much time, effort, and money into his channel. It's clear as day. You know what I mean? Literally, the quality is perfect. But no, like it's clear as day that the dude loves what he does, right? To the point where he has been able to get to the point where he's at to make this his full-time living. That's a beautiful thing, man. To be able to work for yourself and to be able to create your own livelihood and to be able to be successful at it. I think that's a beautiful thing, man. And that's what we all strive for, right? And again, I know there's some issues, like he has said some shit in the past about Alexa Bliss or something, and like I don't know. And again, like maybe at some point today, depending on how the day ends up, I will look him up, and look up some more of the like specifically the comments that he said, in that regard. But I don't know, man. Like he doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes, like recently, like I've seen a lot of his like AEW content, and I fucks with it, bro. And that's what I makes me appreciate him as well. Because now, do I feel the need to yell? No. But do I get so frustrated sometimes? Like it was a couple streams ago. Like I got I don't even remember what it was, but I just got really worked up about something. And so I get it, dude. I get it. And especially where this dude, this is his livelihood, right? Like this is literally his job. So of course he's going to be even more passionate about it and even more invested in it. So like Dave LaGreca, for instance, like Dave LaGreca goes on out there and like rants and like yells and does all this shit. And no one really like, and again, like I don't think I'm not even, I don't think, I know he hasn't said the comments, I guess JD has said about like women in particular or whatever. Like I don't know, like he said various accusations. I'm not gonna get into that because again, I don't know enough to speak on that part. But it's like why can some people yell and rant and it'd be respected and it'd be like viewed as professional with the irony in that. Whereas someone who does it on YouTube, it is downplayed, it's viewed down upon, it's like a negative thing, like I don't know. And again, everything is about the delivery and everything is about your respect to it as well. Like if he's going out there and saying like, oh, like this person's like a fat schlob, like she has like 3 chins and all that stuff, then it's like, yeah, bro, like okay, so you're just one of those like clickbait people. But from what I have seen, I have not like witnessed that. But again, to be fair, I will do my research and then look more into it. But like I said, I do know there are rumblings of some shit that he said in the past, but I don't know enough about it. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents there. But thank you for the question, Brad. Brad 2025. I appreciate you, bro. What up, Josh Perry? What up, man? You said you like to watch WWE a lot. Right on, bro. We're in the right place. Chris, you say you're in a sport where what you look like matters. If quote unquote body shaming is an issue, just quit and work a 9 to 5. Yeah, man, that's a big can. I'm not gonna get into that one right now. I'm not going to say you're 100% wrong because I do have some, like, I do agree with you in some aspects on it, but the women definitely get it a lot worse than the guys do, though, bro. Like, the worst that I can, like, no one talks about Jacob Fatu's way, or, like, I mean, I guess you could say, like, people would shit on Kevin Owens in the past, but it's with, like, people who, quote unquote, are not, like, physically fit, you know, like, I don't know, man. It's just so subjective, but I will say the women get it a lot worse. And maybe that's me being biased, you know, that's I can acknowledge that. But if you were to pull up the comments on a picture that a male wrestler posts compared to a female wrestler, I think that would answer it for you. But I do agree with you in what you said, like you're in a sport where what you look like matters, and it 100% does. It 100% does, because your body is your billboard, right? Like it sells, like that's you, like that's your character, that's your presentation. So I 100% get it, but just gotta be. We'll tackle that a different day, but 100% certain, dude. Nah, baby, what up, bro? We've been bullshitting about WWE releases for the past hour and a half, so I'm about to get into AEW here now, though. I was just going through the chat, because I had some people pop in, so I wanted to acknowledge you guys. What up, Paul? 3, what up? Is this a replay? No, this is live. We're live, pal. We are alive, pal. This isn't live? I mean, I think I'm live. I think I'm alive right now. I think I'm live and speaking right now. But and Jess, yeah, dude, we're live. Is there like an issue? Like, does it not show that we're live? But yeah, we're definitely live, pals. What up, real chill Graz? What up? Yo, sick thumbnail, bro. You said Cody made the best non-WWE journey I've ever seen. Pretty damn sweet. Yeah, bro. I've said this before. My love for Cody and my respect for Cody really fucking grew. For sure. For sure. What up, Azan? What up, man? Welcome back to the chat. He said, why cry over spilled milk? These talent act like WWE is the only dream job in town. You have TNA, MLW, NWA, AEW. Exactly, bro. You have so many different outlets. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of it, too. Like, we're in such a... It still sucks, but we're in such a great space wrestling industry-wise. Yes, Waliko. Yeah, what up? You said, have you seen what Cora Jade just revealed about being body shamed by WWE bosses? Yeah, bro. We went over her response there a little bit ago. I don't know if that was before or after you sent that comment, but yes, we did. We definitely did. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. You read my mind there, dude. You said rants attract viewers. Look at Loreka. Yeah, bro. Between that and like those reaction videos, that's why it's fucking cringe to me, bro. Okay, and howdy, and I said JD from NY is in his 40s, I think, so you can see the 90s shock jock influence. Okay, well, yeah. All right, but I'm gonna jump into AEW here because we do have some stuff just to touch on. Nothing too crazy, but we have our finals. So I'm gonna pull up the info here. We'll go over. Not gonna be anything too in depth, but just kind of like an overview of AEW. Um, this past week, the to be honest with you though, like this past week's show, like the main event is what did it for me, obviously, right? Which I'm sure is the same for a lot of people. God, Hangman Page and Kyle Fletcher, bro. Like Fletcher is just he is such a special talent, and I know people have made the comparison before about him or between him and Randy Orton. I get that, but like, yo, like he's Randy amped up. And I just his mannerisms in the ring and his like psychology, like you can tell camera, you can tell the dude really gets it, man. He gets it, and I think this was one of those. Not even I think this was one of those matches where you go into it and you know who the winner is going to be, right? Especially knowing that the winner of this match was going to face off against Ospreay. You know we're not going to run it back again for what the fifth time in such a short span of time between Ospreay and Fletcher, especially with that killer match, that cage match they had. So you knew we weren't going to get that, and you knew Page was going to end up winning. But to me, it made I don't know, like it changed my perception because I went into the match like again saying, okay, well Paige is gonna win this one, but it was just still such a good match. So props to them, man. Props to Fletcher. I'm not gonna get in on my soapbox again about him winning the Continental Classic and all that shit. I still think he should have. That would be one of those hills that I die on, right? But I just think with all the fucking 15 mid card titles that they have, I just think that he could really be positioned as like he could be like one of those champions where like he dominates as like the TNT champion, for instance, right? And he's just fucking like in his own like a Gunther, for instance, like fucking in his own world, just dominating the scene. Just like imagining him being in the main event picture, going up against all these guys, right? But it hasn't mixed yet. It hasn't interacted yet. But once he loses that title, a year and like a year, 2 years after he's held onto it, like a substantial run, like I'm not saying it has to be like that long, right? But just like this badass run, he's finally free of that title or whatever happens, he relinquishes that, whatever, and he's free to ascend to that main event roster. And when he eventually wins that championship, the championship, I just feel like you could position him throughout that journey to be a star. And look, the scene and the main event title in AEW is crowded right now, which is a good problem to have. But I think if you plan a year or two out from now, maybe a year and a half out from now, Kyle Fletcher could be in that equation, you know. And I think if you plan out your next however many champions you want to have, I think you could find a way to circle back to Ospreay being the defending heavyweight champion, going up against Kyle Fletcher and revisiting this feud that they had, and really making it questionable to be like, oh, okay, like, oh, well, you know, Ospreay's won him or won against him X amount of times, but can Fletcher finally pull out the victory and get the, you know, I mean, he's not most likely going to be a face, but you have to position that story accordingly. But you could really dive into the history there. So I love that the finals ended up being Hangman, or ends up being Hangman versus Ospreay at Double or Nothing, which is going to be on May 25th. Which, yeah, that's that. Damn, that sucks. Damn, that sucks. That's going to be Battleground weekend, so we'll see. But if I'm going to be able to watch it live, but I do love the uncertainty that it leads us to, whether it is going to be Hangman or if it's going to be Ospreay winning the tournament and then going on to face Moxley at All In. I think they have done this story very well. I'm not as torn as some people. I think that I have been actually thinking back on it. These are the exact two people who I thought were going to be facing Moxley or that could potentially face Moxley at All In. Not that I was the first one, right? But I remember months ago when this story first started with the whole, like, Moxley was taking over AEW thing. The true redeemer of AEW was never Darby Allin for me. It's always been Hangman for me. And if you're sticking to the true core of this story from Moxley, it has to be Hangman who wins the finals and goes on to All In to beat Moxley. Besides all the, the cowboy, like pageantry and relation and being in Texas and all that cliche stuff, the story is what's there. The Hangman story, again, say what we want about AEW, the lack of stories, the lack of long-term story booking or story term booking, like all that shit, like have some storylines been more complicated and more convoluted than it needed to be? 100%. But for whatever reason, the story that they have played out and told with Hangman from the beginning of AEW as a company to winning the first championship to losing to the battles with Swerve to finding himself, the depression with alcohol, all that stuff, to where he is at now, where he was this terrible dude who burned down Swerve's childhood home, even though he wasn't supposed to be a bad guy. Like, that whole like question, but going through that story arc and being able to come out on the other side and being able to be positioned as a good guy is a, it takes skill, and it takes the right type of planning. And again, did they plan this particular, like, did they plan like 5 years ago that, like, he's gonna burn down a house? Like, no, of course not. You plan those little things as you go along, but the basic core concept for Hangman, I think, has been so well told. And that's why I think that, early prediction here, I think that Hangman wins at Double or Nothing against Ospreay, whether it's a matter of if someone interferes to attack Ospreay, because Ospreay did declare very early on that he was going to win the tournament and face off for the championship at All In. But I think that's why that agony of defeat for Ospreay will hit even more. So my early prediction is Hangman is going to beat Ospreay, win the tournament itself, head on to All In to face Moxley, and I think he's the guy. I know he's the guy. If they fucking have Moxley retain that championship at All In, you want to talk about rants or whatever, I will probably be on here that night because I will just probably lose my mind. But I think that's where the roads lead to. I think all roads lead to Hangman. I think when we look back, this is going to be, again, like, they could have done this, and this, but I think Hangman is the perfect person to put the title on after Moxley and after this cluster of story that he has put the AEW universe through, the AEW fans through. I think Hangman is our redeemer, and Hangman, sorry, Miro, but Hangman is the one to really shake shit up in a lot of ways. Like, it's kind of weird because you'll be going to, like, Old Faithful in a sense, but it's going to be a shake shit up thing too, because Hangman will present so many different options for opponents leading out of that as well. So that's where I'm at with that. And again, I have said my piece on the whole fuckery of the Jon Moxley title run, all that bullshit. I'm not going to get into that again right now because we'll be beating a dead horse. But I just think, if, long story short with that, again, if they don't have Moxley lose the championship at All In, whether it's to Ospreay or Hangman, I just think that it's just an atrocity. So I will save my frustration, if warranted, until then. But the other main talking point that I wanted to kind of touch on too was the Hurt Syndicate and the MJF portion of it all. I just... Take a quick sip here. I don't I get why MJF is doing what he's doing, because at the end of the day, he wants the Hurt Syndicate to be on his side to help him win back Triple B, right? But the dude did not declare or insert himself or whatever the fuck you have to do. He didn't insert himself or get involved in this tournament to potentially have a chance at the championship, which, okay, fine, like MJF's character, like he doesn't want to work, he wrestles the least amount possible. Okay, fine. I've never liked that as a bad guy's crutch. Especially someone like the age of MJF. Again, like I don't need to sit here and gloat on MJF. We all know how great he is, right? I'm at the point where I'm like, dude, like, why the fuck don't you wrestle more? Yeah, like, you're very fucking talented. You're a generational talent, right? Like, he could go on and be the next Rock for all we know, 10, 15 years from now. And I hope he does. I hope he is, like, uber successful, right? My thing is, you have to get to that point. And yes, there is a case and an argument to be made where you start him off the way you did as wrestling the least amount to establish that. But then once it's been established, and since we've already gone through the good guy MJF route, which I still don't think they should have, he needs to wrestle more. He needs to wrestle at least once a month, once or twice a month. I'm not going to say twice, but I'm going to say at least once a month. He needs to do something in the ring because I'm just at the point I was like, okay, dude, like I'm not going to say I don't want to see him as the champion, but it's like I want to see more reasonings besides him just going out there and shitting on the fans. Then I want to see the in-ring work. I want to see why I want to see him as the champion, because I want to, even as a bad guy champion, I want to see that back, like Triple H back in the day. Triple H was never like the best technical wrestler, but he would go out there and I would want to see him defend that championship because I would want to see this babyface beat him. You know what I mean? But I would want to see that because he has been out there and just being despicable, right? He goes out there and he fucking cheats to win. Like even these small matches, like with Shelton Benjamin, right? Remember like with the IC championship, like any little match that he would be in, he would take like the shittiest way out to try to like the cheapest way out to win, right? Dirtiest player in the game type shit. So I don't know, man. I get there's a case to be made for less is more, but this is just not enough in my opinion. Now, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm off base with that one, and that's cool. That's just my opinion. And again, maybe that's the point too, where it's like, oh, like you're sitting there like itching for him to wrestle more. Like that's the point. Like okay, like not really. Like yeah, I want to see him wrestle more, but it's like, so what is he just going to be like a pay-per-view to pay-per-view guy? Like a pay-per-view, maybe one or two wrestling matches in between, and then the next pay-per-view? Like why? Dude's in the prime of his career, in his what, mid-20s? Like why? Like why? Like I don't know. Like blessings to him and props to him, because that dude is a fucking brilliant businessman to have to do the least amount of physical work as he is doing as possible, you know what I mean? And getting buku's amount of money. So business wise, it's fucking brilliant. I just, as a wrestling fan though, I just want to see more. So that's just my opinion. But getting back to this Hurt Syndicate portion of it, so that's why I'm saying like I get why he wouldn't have inserted himself in the tournament, but like he's not even making a case for himself. Like I don't know, it's just very backwards to me. Like I don't know, and I get, like one possibility is he is going, because Bobby said, like to impress him, you got to hurt people. So possible route for him to impress Bobby is, or, in his mind to impress, quote unquote, to hurt someone is to fuck him over and to have FTR, in my opinion, the eventual ones to beat Hurt Syndicate to retain the championships. They have the history there with MJF and the and FTR with the Pinnacle and things like that. So MJF could very easily come out here and be like, look, like, you wanted me to hurt people. How's it feel, buddy? How's it feel, Bob? So I could see that. And then it's a matter of, does Bob take that as a level of respect, or if he's like, fuck you, bro, like no, like okay, like now it's war. So kind of like short thoughts on that really quick. But I'm gonna jump back into the chat here, and then we will wrap up here soon. Tony Storm is just Tony Storm. You know what I mean? I speaking of WWE releases, I am very intrigued to see what ends up happening with the whole Mariah May of it all. Though I think the possibility of her jumping to WWE is just not that I never saw it coming, but if Tony Khan doesn't throw like just the bucket and like a bucket of money at her, like I would be shocked. But like Stephanie Vaquer said, it wasn't about the money at the end of the day to her. If Mariah May's true passion is to go to WWE, then no amount of money a year will equal that. So respect to her. Whatever she ends up doing, respect to her. But yeah, like I said, I'm just going through your chats real quick and then we'll pop off here. But I appreciate you guys, like I said, for popping in on a Sunday and going through some of these releases with me and some wrestling chat. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Sean, what up? Sean, what up, bro? He said JD is fun. I like him. He can go far sometimes, but I appreciate that he has exactly, dude. Exactly. That he has passion for the business. Waliko, you say, how do you feel about AEW dropping the MJF and Jeff Jarrett storyline? Fucking thank you. I could not be more thrilled. It was just questionable to begin with for so many reasons. And then that promo they had, that's fucking hour-long promo segment it felt like that they had, like, y'all thought that was a good idea? Okay. Oh, my light just went out. Mm-hmm. Oh, it went out again. Oh, so that's how you know it's almost that time, guys. My battery died in the light. Okay, well, I bitched about it earlier, so it heard me talking shit. Oh, man. Walika, what up? Again, you said, glad to say you just earned your 672nd subscriber. We'll be here every time. Remember me when you become... Oh, bro, that's so... that's so sick, man. That's cool, though. 672nd. I did not realize I was up to that number. So I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. And I thank you for jumping in. I am a very random person and a very spontaneous, is what I like to call it, streamer, I guess. But I appreciate you, bro. And I always say to put notifications on. I'm not a very big plugger, so I'm not doing it in that sense. But I'm just doing it because if you do, like to pop in, if you have some random free time during your day, and you want to just be notified when I randomly go live, that's why I recommend that. I do that with actually just a couple of channels that I follow on YouTube. But it is helpful. So I appreciate that, dude. And I guess I should use this as an opportunity to say, like the stream here. If you have not subscribed, feel free to. But I do like to say also, if you do not want to like the channel or the stream, you can dislike the little show that we did here today too. But I just want to know why. Like, just drop it in the comments why, because I like to know. I don't shy away negative feedback or anything like that. I welcome it. I'm a very big why person in everyday life, which annoys a lot of people. Oh man. But no, seriously though, dude, Waliko, I hope I pronounced your name right. I appreciate you, bro, for sure. Oh. What up? So your screen name is Manani Key, but you said my name is Gregory Mokaka, and I'm sorry if I butchered that. Gregory Mogaka. I kindly request that you extend your wishes for a happy birthday to me in advance, as my birthday is tomorrow. Thank you. I am from Kenya. What the fuck? I like your content. No fucking way, dude. Of course. Happy birthday, Gregory. Mr. Gregory Mogaka. I hope I said your name right. Happy fucking birthday, dude. Sorry for the curse words there. But no, dude, seriously, that's really cool, man. From Kenya, that's really cool. You like my content? Well, I like you being here, man. Happy birthday to you. I hope you enjoy your day, dude. I hope you took off from work if you're still working. Because some people who pop in are retired. So shout out to you guys who are retired. But no, seriously, man. Like, I appreciate you popping in, and definitely happy birthday to you. If you pop in on a future stream, you'll need to let me know how your birthday went. Yeah, well, you said the true redeemer is Rusev, but he already left. Yeah. Miro Rusev is back in WWE, which is crazy to see, man. And they said it was 5 years. I just fucking is crazy when WWE. I think it was Michael Cole Or maybe it was Joe Tessitore. No, it was Michael. That said that he had first time in 5 years. I was like, what the fuck? Wild. Yeah, Sean, you said I just don't think saving the AEW story is a good story, but people I think are into it. Darby isn't a world champion in my mind. And yeah, and to be fair, they have dropped that whole like principle of it, but that was still the origin of Moxley's turn. So that's what it always or why it always sticks with me. Jerry Sills, you said I enjoyed Hangman and Ring of Honor years ago. Yeah, dude, I actually was scrolling through some pictures and I found a picture of me that when he was walking back from the ring that I snagged with him. So yeah, back in 2018, it was pretty cool. Right before All In, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Waliko, you say Hangman and Tony Storm have to be the only or the only ones that actually feel like they are playing characters. To be honest, AEW needs more characters. And again, and we'll probably move towards wrapping up with this comment. And again, I'm not everything that's happened in the real world set aside. Vince McMahon did have good instincts when it came to the need of actual characters. Now, a lot of them were bullshit, right? Like we're not going to go through, and, like there's a lot of flumps, but like look at the Undertaker, dude. The Undertaker, when you break it down, is supposed to be this morbid like character who prepares people for like their death, right? Or like and is like they're transitioning and all that shit and like all this like when you think about it, it really doesn't make sense for that to be like a wrestling character. But look at how successful that character was. And again, I know that's like a extreme example, but just as a whole, I remember saying years ago when Triple H first took over, years ago, like 2 years ago when Triple H was first starting to take over, I hope that we still get characters in wrestling. Now, again, it's all about levels to it, right? But I think there is a real case to be made that characters are fun and characters are what make you drawn in, right? Like look at like back in the days, man, like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, like these larger than life figures, and that's what makes you believe. So I agree with you, man. Not only does AEW, but WWE does as well. It gives you an excuse to really have a if you don't have a personality, it gives you an excuse to create one. What up, Mohammed? What up, bro? And Rafi Hossein, what up, what up? You say, will TNA sign Cora Jade? Ring of Honor should sign Monster Among Men. Can you fucking imagine Ring of Honor side? Adam, sure. Yeah, dude, I think Cora Jade, TNA, it would make more sense just with the recent exposure she's had in TNA. But honestly, dude, I think she's probably, maybe not, maybe because there's something to be said about having that security with having a signed contract. But I could see her hitting the indies for a little bit, kind of jumping back and forth for 6-ish months and then signing a deal. Maybe to TNA. But to me, it's kind of a toss up between TNA and AEW. I could really see, if I had to put a bet on it right now, I would say possibly AEW, just because that would be different for her completely right now. And to really just break away from TNA and WWE completely, just for a little bit. Mohammed, you said, I hope you are doing well as your Sunday, and same with everyone here. That's very kind, Mohammed. I hope you're having a kick-ass Sunday, bro. But yeah, my friends, we will be wrapping up here. And like E says, make love, not war. That is a great statement, my friend. Great statement. What up, Matthew Wayne? What up? What up? You said I wish Shayna would stay. Yeah, bro, but I mean, it's her time, dude, and not in the sense like her character's time because they just weren't doing anything with her, bro. And I'd rather, honestly, like I'd rather see her go out there and fucking like pound the pavement and like just kick ass in the indie scene than just being catering and not being used. So if they're not gonna use her, then I'd rather her be free to really explore what she wants to do. So yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, Fernando. You said excellent stream as usual. Thank you. No, thank you, man. Thank you. I will be signing off here shortly, as in the next couple of moments, but I'm just scrolling down to the last ones here. Yeah, Sean, like Sean said, happy birthday, Gregory. Happy birthday, bro. Waliko, you say you have probably never heard of Malawi. Malawi, clearly I haven't. But that's where I'm from. It's freaking cool right now. Yo, I'm gonna look that shit up though, dude. Waliko, am I pronouncing your name right? Waliko. I'm gonna try to say your last name too. Waliko Chifumbi. Is that right? I'm terrible with names, so that's why I'm trying to practice on it. But I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna look that shit up now. Oh wow. It's a country in East Africa. Officially the Republic of Malawi. Malawi, yeah, okay. Is a landlocked country in southeastern Africa. It is bordered by Zambia to the west, Tanzania to the north and northeast, and Mozambique to the east, south, and southwest. It spans over a lot and has an estimated population of 21 million, 21.2 million. Wow. Now you got me standing here reading about it. I'll continue that off the stream, and I guess I get me sitting here reading about it. But thanks, bro. I appreciate you popping in, man. Learned something new today too. Right? Isn't it howdy though? Quite ironic. Rusev's return happened on Rusev Day. They planned that. It's like a better story could not have been written, man. Could not have been written. Dude, yes, bro. Fuck yeah. So, Nick, we will end with this because I laughed my ass off. Nick says, I just read somewhere that Hogan and Bischoff are starting a new wrestling promotion. Dude, yeah. Let me pull that bullshit. A real American something. Ooh, as of 4 hours ago, we have additional information. All right, we're going to read this shit together, and then I will jump off here momentarily. What? Mimic Gaming, you said breaking news, Shinsuke got released? Shut the fuck up, bro. No way. Hold on. Hold on, Nick. We'll get back to the Hogan bullshit. Yo, and shout out Lady Gaga having 2.5 million fans in attendance at that show. Shotzi said my last match, can't wait to wrestle a lot longer than 3 minutes. That was a WWE speed match. Alright, I gotta refresh my Twitter real quick here. Let's see what the fuck is going on. Did Shinsuke really get released, guys? Oh, shit. Yeah, bro. Hold on. I gotta... Let's see. Alright, so it may not be true, guys. Apparently there was like a fake screenshot going around, so we can hold our outrage. So yes, it looks like Shinsuke is in the clear right now. So we will see. We will see. Let me pull up Sean Ross Sapp real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything related or anything referencing Shinsuke being released right now. So if that happens, we'll obviously talk about it in the future. Hopefully it doesn't happen though. But back to the real American bullshit. Let's share my screen with you guys, and then I will have to jump after that, my friends. And this is via WrestlingInc.com, so shout out to them. Additional details on Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff's plans for freestyle wrestling promotion by Faden Cloete. Yo, fucking beast name, if I said that right. Faden Cloete? Fucking baller name, dude. I got such a basic white bitch name. God, I hate it. I don't hate it. That's dramatic. It's just so basic. All right. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff recently announced a brand new joint venture after 2 wrestling promos cut in an NWO style, with the Hulkster clearly going back to his Hollywood Hogan persona. In light of their Real American this is the name of it, guys. Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Fucking mouthful name. Wrestling Observer newsletter shared some behind-the-scenes information on the venture and the potential pitfalls Hogan and Bischoff could fall into. According to the report, similar ventures were attempted in the past, most notably in the 1970s, where things fell apart quickly after... Wait, did I skip a thing? Yeah, no. Okay. According to the report, similar ventures, just a weird transition, were attempted in the past, most notably in the 1970s, where things fell apart quickly after those involved failed to draw. Furthermore, okay, yeah, we know the failures. Okay. Furthermore, it claimed that Hogan was inspired to undertake the venture after watching Wyatt Hendrickson beat Gable Steveson in the 2025 NCCA Heavyweight Championship Final. When I saw that happen and I saw our president hug him, I went, okay, we are on point. We're ready to go, and instincts have prevailed, and I smell victory. Wrestling Observer newsletter claimed, Hogan said. I think we are on the right track, brother. The report then noted that the plan for RAFW is to have a debut show in Cleveland end of August this year with 12 matches. What the fuck? 8 men in 8 weight classes and 4 women's matches. The promotion will also focus on using both college wrestlers and veteran wrestlers who have competed at the national and international levels. Additionally, Hogan plans to use RAFW. I just sound like a old veterans hall, like a via like those. Christ, you just shut up. Additionally, Hogan, well, it'd be fitting. Hogan plans to use RAFW to facilitate a rematch between Steveson and Hendrickson, admitting that it is on the radar, despite neither man having signed with them yet. An odd fit for amateur wrestling. Furthermore, the Wrestling Observer newsletter briefly noted that Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer will naturally be the title sponsor. No shit. And that businessman Chad Braunstein is listed as the co-founder of the company. In the case of Eric Bischoff, the report claims that he'll be the chief media officer. Eric jumped in with both feet, and he's doing a lot to guide this ship right now, brother. He's getting so much stuff up production-wise, just moving us forward light years ahead of where we could have been on our own. Additionally, the report added that Hogan will be the public face and commissioner, Eric Bischoff will be handling media, and Braunstein will be running the promotion. The report then suggested that having Hogan as the front guy seems like a major miscalculation, considering his reputation with the general public as well as those in amateur wrestling who see him as the one who represents fake wrestling. Oh, okay. However, it goes on to further note that Hogan can likely gain mainstream recognition for real American Freestyle Wrestling. I just hate that name. But adds that the audience might largely be over 50. Naturally, this is a great article. Naturally, it also touched on the third guy, Israel Martinez, noting how he previously coached Greg Jackson's MMA team, trained John Jones, Holly Holm, and Yair Rodriguez, as well as NCAA champion Tony Ramos, and will be the chief operating officer. Izzy's our linchpin. The Wrestling Observer newsletter claimed Hogan said, he has trained, I don't know why that cracked me up. He has trained all the Olympic athletes, all the NCAA champions, all the college kids that really have made it. He was our source to pull in all these great athletes and get everybody signed. Who signed? So who's the roster? Our goal is not to be competitive with Dana White. Well, you're starting off right there. When it comes to the future of real American freestyle wrestling, Hulk Hogan has massive aspirations. Our goal is not to be competitive with Dana White, the UFC, or the WWE, but just to be as big or bigger. Oh, Christ. But to be just as big or bigger because this is an underserved market. What is the underserved market? The report asserts, Hogan said, while the Hulkster has lofty dreams for raffle, RAFW, all these abbreviations, I hate it. World Wrestling Observer newsletter pointed out that the concept has never worked outside of the NCAA tournament itself. Interestingly, newsletter speculates, I'm just going to say Dave. Dave speculates that both Bischoff and Hogan are likely aware that the project will fail and are simply trying to make some money. The report claimed that Bischoff aims to gain a short-term media deal and is aware that the sport will need time to build a legitimate audience. The report also notes that Hogan wants to take raffle into major arenas. Can you imagine the fans trying to chant that? RAFW, RAFW. Oh, Christ. Which Dave doesn't believe will be viable long-term and predicts that the promotion might only get some buzz early on before failing to generate enough income for larger venues. I want to keep reading this shit. The bigger the star you become, the more you win. Okay, that was the end of it anyway. What the fuck are we doing here? What is the market? What is the underserved market that he's referring to? Like, what am I missing? What am I missing, guys? Like, I'm just so confused by that. But thank you, Nick. Thanks for the reminder. I did want to talk about that, and it was perfect timing because it was just released 4 hours ago, that update. Guys, I had I think that line said it right there. Like, they both know it's likely to fail. They're just trying to get like short-term cash. I think that pretty much sums it up right there. But yeah, guys, I am going to be jumping off here soon now. I'm just going to go through your last comments here. Jerry D, he said, as a wrestling fan of 41 years, hello. Right on, bro. Fucking respect to you, bro. Oh, Waliko, right on, bro. You said the pronunciation is perfect. Thank you. Love the stream. Right on, dude. Happy I got it right. Yeah, Bebe. What up, Bebe? Again, you said, I give 0 fucks about anything Hogan does. I would say more, but I'll leave it there. Dude, I could be on for so much longer, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut too. Yes, Willie, go great call out, bro. Hogan's promotion may fall flat like Control Your Narrative. Yeah, dude, what if Control Your Narrative is more successful? I mean, it can't be because of the money that Hogan's going to be pumping into it, but still. Dude, Willie, go, yeah, I love you, bro. I'm glad you found the stream, bro. I'm glad you found the stream. I hope you pop back in the future. Nikki said, oh man, the lies that Hogan's going to spew on Dark Side of the Ring when Rafa shuts down in next year. I can't wait for that either, my dude. Oh, y'all are great. Y'all are great. So E, you said, are you doing the Saturday shows with the new merger of Brass Ring Media, One True Sport? Yeah, dude. There was an issue yesterday with being able to log in. But we're hoping to get that worked out for upcoming weeks and get all that, ironed out so I can log in and shit on Saturday mornings. But yes, that is the plan still. I'm sticking around, man. They're gonna have to kick me out, but yeah, I'm sticking around. For the new subscribers here, I do a supposed to be live weekly show every Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern-ish time here in the States, time-wise, over on Brass Ring Media, One True Sport. They have just merged, so definitely look that up on YouTube and subscribe if you would like to watch me every Saturday mornings. But yes, I will still be doing that. And baby, exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the market? So you said, so it's what pro wrestling would be like without the quote unquote fake part. Who fucking knows, bro? Who fucking knows? I I have no idea. We'll see. I'm very very interested to see what this ends up looking like as a whole. But guys, y'all the rock stars here. I appreciate you all so much for popping in. To all the new people who popped in, I appreciate you all. Gregory, I hope you have a good birthday out there, man. Waliko, Fernando, Bebe, E, Sean, all you guys who popped in, Jerry, Howdy, all you guys, man. Azan, there's so many of you guys now popping in, which is cool. The little community is growing here. I appreciate you guys so much for being here and for just interacting and making the chat what it is. So until next time, my friends, stay safe out there. Enjoy your Sundays. Enjoy the Warriors game tonight if you're into basketball. If not, just enjoy your evening. Doing whatever the fuck you're going to be doing. And a good start to your week coming up because tomorrow the real world is back. So until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Enjoy some wrestling.